What's up, everybody? We're gonna go ahead and get started here in just a moment. I want to welcome everybody to downtown Miami. Now, where we're standing at right now, this is right outside of 50 Biscayne. This is a beautiful luxury condominium. Now, this is actually closed to vehicle traffic for now. This is all brand new. This is part of the revitalization project of downtown Miami to make it a more walkable city. So you can see it's all under construction, but we're going to take a little bit of a behind the scenes look. Essentially what they've done is they're going to build all new retail all the way down here, stretching all the way to Julia and Henry's, which is a great place. We may take a walk around there tonight. They have the sidewalks level and flush with the street. All brand new drainage, bike racks, pretty much everything you can imagine. It's not yet open, as you can see, it's still under construction, but this is going to be amazing once everything comes to fruition. There's going to be dining, coffee shops, I mean, really anything you can imagine, it's going to be here. You can kind of already see some of the restaurants in and around here. You see the Metro Mover kind of going by. And this is the main driveway, I should say, to 50 Biscayne. So it's good to see everybody. This is going to be our last night in Miami, unfortunately. I will be back in New York City tomorrow. Very early. I have about, I think it's 6 a.m. flight out of Miami International Airport. So we will be back in New York City in no time. But let's go ahead and kick this off. I'll say hello to everybody in the chat. It's going to be about an hour stream because I do need to get up quite early. You have a beautiful view of Miami Tower or the City National Bank building. Amy T, what's up? Thanks for joining us on our last night here in Miami. Check the logic. Yes, was glad to see you back. It was an awesome trip. You know, really enjoyed my time in Miami. It should be a quieter stream tonight. The last 2 days we were back really in South Beach, which is where all of the, I should say, spring break craziness is going on. But I want to really kind of show you this new Flagler Street here. I think this is going to be really the main thing that really pushes Miami over the edge into having it really compete with cities like New York. I think the reason why New York is so amazing is because it's very walkable, right? Lots of public transportation. So the more walkable they can make the city of Miami, the more public transportation they build, I think the more people it's going to attract. This spot is very popular. It's called Julia and Henry's. We'll check it out tonight. Hey, I see Gary Carpenter. What's going on? DM is here. Says hello, Tom, and everybody. What's up? Steph UF, Abdullah, Check the Logic, Victor C, Sharon, what's up? It's good to see everybody on this beautiful night in Miami. Today was a picture perfect day. Was finally able to go to the beach. It was beautiful, 80 degrees, blue skies. But I hear that the weather's actually pretty good in New York too. So hopefully we'll be able to double up on that. Looks like there's something going on here. Maybe a movie premiere? You guys see that? Some sort of premiere going on. This is the Flagler building. Hey, Todd and Tara, what's going on? Thanks so much for joining us. All right, let's do one lap around Julia and Henry's here. This is all brand new too. They added outdoor dining. This didn't really used to be here before. They just had the inside. They didn't have the outside. So this is cool. We'll see what's new here, and then let's head over the bridge and we'll go to Brickell. Now, if you haven't been to downtown Miami or Flagler Street in a long time, this is going to look completely different to you. can only imagine what it's going to look like once it's fully complete. Again, you have all this outdoor dining. And this is the eatery at Julia and Henry's. Pretty cool, right? Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Maybe that's just the lunch option? Ah, brunch. Yeah, Gary Carpenter. Long time no see. We definitely missed you, man. So this is like a big food hall. They have different bakeries. I mean, so much stuff they have here. And this is brand new to downtown. So if you want to come here, it's right off of Flagler Street. And again, it's called Julia and Henry's. This is brand new to downtown Miami. And I think this is going to continue to attract a younger crowd. You know, people living in downtown. We'll make one lap around the entire place, and then we'll head out. This kind of reminds me of Chelsea Market a little bit. Chelsea Market's obviously a lot more spread out. This is a little bit more consolidated on top of one another, but it's definitely a complete change of what downtown Miami used to be just 3 years ago. Richard Scott, what's up? Good to see you on our last night in Miami. And we'll talk about the markets in just a moment. Because we have new all-time record highs yet again for Bitcoin. Intraday trading over 70,000. Kind of insane. All right, let's head over the bridge here. So again, this is on the corner of East Flagler and East 2nd Avenue. It's a pretty cool place. So if you're visiting Miami and you're in the downtown neighborhood, I would check it out. I've only went to one Italian place, which was the one on the 2nd floor. But yeah, what do you guys think? Hey, cooking, what's going on? Flat smack. I know, it's an interesting dichotomy what's going on. It's gonna be a little bit light on the financial topics tonight, but one thing I am watching, you had big reversals today in a lot of the TMLs, or true market leaders. Big reversals, which I think is good and I think it's needed. So you're seeing money coming out of the Nvidias, you're seeing money coming out of the Apples, the Alphabets, in a major way, and rotating in other sectors. Small caps are performing okay, micro caps are performing okay, but we're finally getting that rotation out that we've been looking for, right? That rotation out of the mega cap tech names. Hello is here. What's going on? Lena Sandoval, thanks so much for joining us. The Simple Life says it's a pretty cool with the live DJ. Yeah, the DJ booth or whatever it's called is kind of built into that bar. It's like a 3-story bar and the elevator is in the bar too. It's kind of cool. But for the sake of time, we are going to go directly past the hotel. So you're going to see the JW Marriott, which we're going to pass here in a moment. And then we're going to head all the way up and over the bridge to Brickell, which is really the financial center of Miami. This is a dumpling place. Very seldom will you see this, like that type of cuisine in Miami. At least I've never really seen it. There's a few places in North Miami Beach, but you really can't compare the food to New York in my view. I'm talking about like Chinese food, Korean food, really Asian food in general. I think it's still going to be much better in New York City, but it's getting there. It's a start. So this is Southeast 2nd Avenue, and you can see the Miami Tower. That is the City National Bank building. Really interesting and cool colors. But all the way over here, this is the 200 Southeast Financial Center. And right across the street from the 200 Southeast Financial Center is this big abandoned building. But the good news is there's going to be a total teardown. And in its place is going to be the brand new One Bayfront Plaza. You're also going to be able to see the construction site of One Brickell City Center too. Now related is the developer on a lot of these projects, but there's some other residential projects that I wanted to talk about, particularly on Bay Harbor Islands. Which is actually going to be developed by Red Hook Partners. And funny enough, the building that we're selling in New York, in Red Hook, Brooklyn, is being developed by the same exact developer, Lee Cohen. So they're expanding down here as well. I'm not too sure we're going to be on that deal, but it's interesting to see a lot of tried and true New York developers breaking into and trying to spur up more projects in Miami. Hey, Lark Bark, what's up? Hey, Tom, how's everything going? Everything's good. You know, just last night in South Florida. We will be back in New York tomorrow, unfortunately, but look, I think it'll be good to be back in New York. Daryl, what's up? This is evening. All right, this is the main Brickell Avenue. We're passing the Wells Fargo Center. And maybe if we have enough time, we'll go all the way to the brand new Aston Martin residences, which is now, I believe, 100% sold out. World Escapes is Chow Time in Pembroke Pines. Has the best Asian buffet in South Florida. Let me take a screenshot of that. That's a nice neighborhood too, Pembroke Pines. A little bit further out than what I'd like, but definitely a really nice neighborhood. All right, everybody. This is the Epic Hotel and Residences. You can see pretty amazing views of the city from here. And that is the Aston Martin Residences. I think we'll have just enough time to take a quick walk past the JW Marriott, which is right in front of us. And then we could look at Brickell Key as well. Hey, SoCal Lawrence. John Kelly says, what do you mean? Yeah, I know. Well, I wish I could spend a little bit more time here in Miami, but look, I'm excited to get back to New York. I'll be back in Miami soon. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but standing directly under the Aston Martin Residences is unbelievable. The thing is just so massive, and with the lights finally being on, looks really good. Hey, Gadat says, what neighborhood is this? This is downtown Miami right now. So this is downtown Miami, right outside of the JW Marriott here. But in a minute, we're gonna cross this bridge, which is gonna take us from downtown Miami to Brickell. And that is the financial center, pretty much the financial center in Miami. And then we're gonna go to Mary Brickell Village. This is Southeast 4th Street. You know what, let's cross to the right. I don't think we've been on the Riverwalk on this side, this trip at least. Tons of construction getting ready for the residences to open up. Tim says, do you work while in Miami or is it just pleasure? No, I've been working. Had a few good meetings with some developers. And yeah, we're looking to expand the business down to South Florida. So someone says, where is the Paramount building? That is all the way over here. So I believe the Paramount building is the tallest residential building in Miami. Soon to be taken out by the Waldorf Astoria residences. Now, the Panorama Tower is also incredible, and that is right across the street from the Kaseya Center, which is the former FTX arena. We all know what happened to FTX. Sam Bankman-Fried. But yeah, let's do that. We'll wait for the light. We'll cross, and we'll check out the sort of the parking area over here at the Epic Residences. And then we'll have pretty good views of the river and a lot of the boats and the yachts that are on the Riverwalk. Isabella's is definitely impressively clean. That's one of the main things that drew me to Miami, to be honest, is just the cleanliness of the city, particularly in the Brickell neighborhood. Now there's some spots in downtown Miami that are kind of iffy, just like you would get in any city, but definitely a night and day difference from, you know, a place like New York. DA, what's going on? Dan Sang, thanks so much for being here. My day was good. Beautiful, picture perfect day here in Miami. And I hear that you guys in New York City had a great day too. It's like 60 degrees. So this is going to be all new road in preparation for the Aston Martin residences. So this is coming into the main valet here of the hotel and residences at Epic. You usually see a ton of crazy cars. Let's see if we have any. This looks like a nice Tesla Model X, which I'm a very big fan of. Looks like you have Bentley here. And across the way you have the W Hotel and Residences, or the Icon Brickell. But check this out. Right here, my friends, we are looking directly across the water to Brickell Key. Absolutely stunning. It's its own private island, separated from downtown Miami and separated from Brickell. This building with the kind of white top is the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. So you might be familiar with that chain from our New York City live streams, because the Mandarin Oriental is also in New York City at the one and only Deutsche Bank Center. So guys, here it is. This is all the brand new facade and landscaping at the Aston Martin residences. It's gonna be pretty insane. Now, you have all new walkway, all new landscaping, but what I hear is there's gonna be individual boat docks here. So if you own a unit at the residences at the Aston Martin Tower, you don't have to drive, you don't have to take an Uber. If you're coming from the Bahamas, you could pull up right here and go right into your apartment all the way up there. Pretty cool. So I think they actually did some dredging here, made this a little bit deeper, so you could dock boats and go right up into your penthouse at the Aston Martin residences. So for context, this Riverwalk that's down here, I was telling you guys about a long time ago, is all going to be connected. So this is all going to be open and wrapping around now, which is going to be insane. This place is just going to be off the chain when there's actual residents moved in, because the place is 100% sellout. So I mean, imagine how much more foot traffic that's going to bring to the neighborhood. And that's really what we want, right? We kind of want Miami to turn into a walkable city like New York. Speaking about Aston Martin, looks like this is a Aston Martin SUV here. What do you guys think? Definitely a lot different from New York, different vibe. But it's beautiful. Right here you have really good restaurants too. So this is the W Hotel and Tower, the Icon Brickell. Let's see this boat coming by here. Hey Tim, this is Tom. Did you see the National Guard on the subway? I did see that. I did see that. We'll be hanging around the National Guard here in just a moment when we get back to New York. Hey, Thomas says, hey Tom, first time in Miami, staying in Brickell. Any recommendations for a 21-year-old? Wow, I'm excited for you, man. I think you're gonna have a really good time. Miami is a great city. Brickell is very, very fun. I don't know. I mean, look, Brickell is a very condensed place. So I would just say walk around, pretty much do everything that's there. You know, you're gonna have a great time, but also try to get out to North Beach. I think you'd really like North Beach too. But it's just awesome all around. I mean, there's so many things to do, so many different places to eat over there. We're actually gonna make our way to Brickell here in just a moment, but I just wanted to show you guys some of the restaurants here right on the Miami Riverwalk. So here, I believe it's like a really nice sushi place. So this is all outdoor dining, overlooking the river. I mean, it's insane. I would say the quality of life down here in South Florida is really unmatched, honestly. Particularly if you can keep sort of the same salary range that you have in New York and other major cities. Because here in the state of Florida, there's no state income tax. Angelina's Miami is good for alligators. I've never seen not one alligator since I've been here. I think they're mainly in the Everglades. But as we discussed, you know, another rip-roaring rally for Bitcoin. And there's been a lot of talk about how there's irrational exuberance in this price action, but you know, if you've been reading the newsletters that we've been sending out, the behind the street newsletters, I think this move is just getting started. You know, that's how bull markets start. There's a misconception that, you know, you never should buy all-time record highs. No, when you have an asset class, an equity or, you know, commodity that's been in a over 2 year consolidation going sideways to down, that's building out a massive cup base, charging for new all-time record highs, you could hammer the breakout into new highs and do really, really well, make a lot of money. And I think you're seeing that across asset classes, across different equities in different countries, like emerging markets. You know, not to sound like a broken record, but that's kind of what we're seeing with in Japan, right? And the bull thesis there is all of the manufacturing capacity, global supply chain shakeup away from China. So, you know, the thesis of there's always a bull market somewhere is true, right? You just really need to know where to look. And right now, there's been a raging bull market in U.S. equities specifically, but there's also been a raging bull market in Bitcoin, Japan, Germany, India. So I mean, it's been really good. This market's been really, really good. And I'm actually happy that I'm in Miami for Bitcoin's brand new all-time record high. Because if you go back and look at our previous streams, funny enough, the last time Bitcoin hit a new all-time record high, I think I was here for it because I was at the conference with at the Miami Convention Center with Max Kaiser, Jim Ropel, Dan Tapiero, Mike Novogratz. Who else was there? Kathy Wood was there.
I think it's this.
And we got a press pass for that.
Is that not us?
Anyway. All right, so we're gonna make this left. Hey, Hawaii, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. But now, and again, we're gonna write about this on Thursday, because Thursday we're putting out our next edition of the newsletter. And something we've been talking about is this rotation out of the leaders, right? So stage one of a new bull cycle, you have your true market leaders up and out, and then you have a pretty significant correction and a pullback and sector rotation in other sectors, like small caps, Russell 2000, micro caps. So if you looked at the volume today, massive selling across enterprise software, massive selling across semiconductors. So all of the leading sectors sold down in a big way today, which is actually pretty encouraging. Once again, this is Miami Tower, or the City National Bank building. You can see all the traffic coming across the bridge here. Hey Robert, what's up? Thanks for joining us on our last night here. This is right where I got pulled over, by the way. Right here. Oops. Oh, it looks like we are gonna see a cool, maybe a few yachts coming across the bridge. Let's see. Hey, Dante Rose, this is Tom. Can a guy from the Caribbean buy in Miami? I think so, yeah. I don't think there's any rules or regulations about international buyers. Alright everybody, this is going to be a pretty cool feature. This is a drawbridge, so it's going to open up and maybe we'll have some sort of massive super yacht come by. Let's see. Solo flyer, you got pulled over yesterday too? I've been getting pulled over. I got pulled over 3 times so far since I've been in Miami. John Kelly says, Tom, what's your high BTC prediction for this year? I don't like giving them out, and I'll tell you why. And I'm actually, I wrote about this when I was in college, 2016 and 2017. I don't necessarily think about that in terms of the all-time record highs, because I believe, I mean, there's just so much to talk about, and I really want to do that when we're back in New York, but I don't think it matters necessarily the price of Bitcoin, because everything else in terms of its purchasing power in Bitcoin, if I'm explaining that correctly, I think it's going to continue to trend towards zero, right? So I don't think the question shouldn't be, you know, what's its price in US dollars, how much of everything else priced in Bitcoin. That's kind of how I think about it. Man, Miami is gorgeous here. But in terms of the ETF talk, which we've discussed, I would never buy any of these things, because I think it violates really the only 2 value propositions for Bitcoin, which, number one, it's the only unconfiscatable asset in the world, right? If you have your private keys, you own it. So I don't want to give my private keys to Larry Fink. Oh, look at this. It looks like they're watching a movie on the back of this yacht.
Crossing, remain beyond the gate, push the train along.
So this is where we were just walking. The Miami Riverwalk. Now these were the restaurants I was talking about. I mean, how cool is that to be able to dine outside here? And overlook right on the water. If you guys are following me on X, which I still like to call Twitter, I was reminiscing on yeah, just check out my Twitter handle, @WalksWallStreet. And, you know, back in my college days, I used to sit in the computer room, right? This was like 2016, 2017. And there were all these online communities, online chat rooms. There was this guy, a really successful VC guy, Peter Saddington. and he created this sort of like makeshift website. At the time, it was called the Bitcoin.pub. It's not around anymore. The domain name's actually for sale. I was looking it up today. The domain is for sale for like $14,000. But it was just a bunch of, you know, software engineers, tech guys on this like forum. And, you know, it was crazy thinking back on it, because that was when, you know, Bitcoin was like $2,500. You know, sending around memes and, you know, building little like, it was just wild. I was reminiscing on that today. It's just crazy to see how far things have come. It's just wild. It's wild, man. All right, let's continue to head over. You're going to see the Bank of America Tower in the distance. You're also going to see Santander. And we're going to be looking at the construction site, the brand new construction site, where the super tall one Brickell City Center is going to be built. Really backs up the pedestrian traffic. Hey Monty, this is Tom. How long are you in Miami? Well, I was here for about a week. I have to go back to New York City tomorrow early at like 6 a.m. Joel PMs as compared to Miami, my city would be from a third world country. Oh, your city could be from a third world country. Got it. Yeah, I mean, Miami's a cool place. It's not for everybody, and I understand that. Some people don't like the humidity. Some people don't like the heat, and I totally understand that. But I would give Miami a try. I would give it a try. It's a really, really cool and interesting city. That's really forward-looking. That's kind of what drew me to Miami in the first place, is it's more entrepreneurial. It really feels like kind of like a nitty-gritty startup city, kind of like a SF. So that's the brand new Aston Martin Tower, or residences. Right behind it, you can see just the top of the 200 Southeast Financial Center. That is the temporary headquarters of Citadel Securities. But Citadel, right, they've moved away from Chicago, Illinois. Their headquarters is now here. They still have a big presence in Chicago. But they're going to be building their super tall tower in Brickell as well, which is going to be crazy. And this is the W Hotel. A lot of the rooms have balconies, so you can only imagine how cool the views are from there. Yeah, Monty says, I was thinking about living in Miami for the winters. I went to medical school there in Miami. Most of my friends are there. Wow. You know, I think that's a really good idea. I wanted to ask you, well, I'll ask you right now, what is the medical school that's here? And the reason why I ask is because I also rent out my place, and I get a lot of inbound inquiry from medical students. They say, hey, I'm looking to rent out your place because I'm going to be doing my residency here. What is the medical college close here? It's funny, just in the last 2 months, I had 2 people reach out to me saying that they're doing their residency in Miami and they need a place to stay. All right, Bank of America Tower. This is Brian Moynihan's company, CEO of Bank of America. This is Mary Brickell Park. Hey Chris, it's Tom. Do you see value in buying real estate for investing when mortgage rates are this high? Yeah, I mean, Chris, it really all depends on the deal, right? I mean, if the numbers work, the numbers work, right? What I say is, if you're running the numbers on a real estate transaction, with debt, right? Because the vast majority of real estate transactions involve debt if you're talking about like the multifamily space. And if the numbers work, that means the deal's probably a good deal to do. But if you have to pay cash in order for the deal to work, in order for the numbers to work, that may be a signal that you may be overpaying for that particular property. So in every market, it doesn't matter if the market is white hot, and it doesn't matter if it's like a 2008, crisis style market. There's always deals to be had. The economy is so massive. The US economy is so robust. There's always going to be mispricings in the market. There's always going to be properties that you could buy at a discount, put a little bit of work into, raise the rents, things like that. So what I say is you should always be shopping for deals 24/7, 365. It should never stop, because you're kind of in the game, right? Once you're in the water, when you first jump in the water, right, you're freezing, like, oh my God, this is so cold. But once you get in, you get used to the water, now you can start kind of making some moves and running the numbers on some deals, getting transactions under your belt. But I wouldn't force anything, but I would always be in the market looking for different deals. And also, when I say you should be in the market looking for deals, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to only look at what's listed. You could call around. If you live in a small town, let's say if you're in the Midwest somewhere and you live in a small town, do some research and see who's the largest landlord in your town, right? And maybe give them a call and say, hey, are you looking to offload any property? Like, there are off-market deals to be had. It's just you have to find them, right? And it needs to be a little bit of convincing, because sometimes people just don't want to be landlords anymore. They don't want to deal with it. And if you look at the demographics, the vast majority of people who own real estate, right, aside from institutions, are older individuals that are nearing retirement age. So if you can come in with a very good deal and you could close quick, you could take these properties off of their hands. Things like that. That's kind of what I would say. Potos' residency is not medical school. They train at hospitals after med school. Copy that. 10-4 Poto. Thank you for that clarification. Monty says, man, I was walking in downtown San Francisco last weekend and it's a ghost town for businesses. Really? That's sad to hear that, by the way. I've never been to San Francisco, but it's kind of sad to see what the city has become. Interestingly enough, I see value in real estate in San Francisco. I think that's where you're seeing a major mispricing. We've been over that before. It's going to sound kind of crazy, and I actually have a vested interest in not saying this, but I think Miami is a little bit too hot right now. And if you can find a market where the underlying trends of population growth, of education, startup culture is moving upward, but real estate values are going down, I think you can maybe pick up some interesting deals. And that's why I'm interested in San Francisco. Because here's the thing, the one variable that's keeping San Francisco down is the politics, right? I respect everybody's political views, but what's going on in San Francisco isn't working. It's a hellscape, it's dystopian, it's horrible. Once that's changed, the residential real estate that's trading at a 20% discount's going back to where it was, plus 30. It's just gonna happen. So I'm not from San Francisco, I don't know the market like many of you probably know a lot better than me. But if I was from California, San Francisco Bay Area, I would be out, almost every day, walking the streets, looking for deals, shopping deals. I would know all the landlords, I would know everything. Because I think that's a market that over the next 10 years, you could make a fortune, a real fortune there. But again, there's risk involved. When there's extreme fear, and when there's a big shakeup in the city, like what's going on in San Francisco, that creates mispricings, that creates volatility, but that also creates opportunities for, I guess you can consider it like a Sam Zell style of investor that looks for distressed assets when everybody's running out, you know, if you can endure the pain temporarily and run in, you know, not try to bottom fish, but anyway. So guys, this building with all the graffiti on it looks super unique, but it's coming down. And this is going to be the construction site for the brand new Brickell City Center. This thing is going to be incredible. If you look up some of the renderings online, just the views from some of the office suites overlooking the water well into South Beach, it's just incredible. It's amazing. So all of these buildings that you see here, these super talls, there's going to be one even bigger right here. Going to be one Brickell City Center. And this is on the corner of Southeast 8th Street. I wanted to point out one thing, just since it's the last night here. If you continue to walk or drive down 8th Street, that's going to take you to the bridge that will essentially bring you over to Brickell Key. You can see the very top of the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. We'll go down a little bit to see. Michelle says, when are they taking it down? Well, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe the construction is a little bit delayed because there was some incompetence in the demolition that almost hurt a lot of people. I mean, thank God it didn't hurt anybody. They were trying to demo the building right here on Brickell Avenue, and they did it in a wrong way. I don't know exactly what happened, but as they were demolishing the building, it fell over onto the scaffolding and kind of crushed the sidewalk there. So the city of Miami, I think they put a halt on construction until that could be investigated. Wow, Zozo Bob's Brickell City Center will be super tall, over 1,000 feet tall. That's insane. So 1,049 feet tall. So Zozo Bob, that means Brickell City Center will be about 50 feet taller than 157 on Billionaires Row. So for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure all of you know because you've been watching our New York City live streams, 157 West 57th Street was the first building ever constructed on Billionaires Row. West 57th Street, across from Carnegie Hall. That is a super tall. It's about 1,005 feet tall. And that looks ridiculously tall standing under it. So I can only imagine what Brickell City Center is going to look like. This is Brickell Bay Drive. That's going to take you all the way to Brickell Key. Hey, Joe says, is the city always been gritty? Tech tried to change downtown and it just backfired. Bay Area still has VC startups and talent. San Francisco will be back. I think I agree. I think I agree in a big way. And we've been covering this topic, not to sound super redundant, but I think it's an important topic because San Francisco is a huge growth driver, production for the economy, not only in the US, but locally in California. Right, California is a massive economy in and of itself. Can't forget that, right? But I come from I have a tech background. My previous career, my last job I had, I was a director of enterprise sales at an MSP. And we grew the company in one of the fastest growing managed service providers in America. And we worked with a lot of startups. And I built a lot of relationships with people that are founders. And from what I'm hearing, not reading Bloomberg, not reading an opinion piece in the Washington Post, but from actual people who are building products, it's as robust as ever, the startup culture in San Francisco and the Bay Area. It's as robust as ever. The talent pool, if anything, it's improving. And if you look at the net new lease signups, there's actually been a little bit of a rebound. Oh, look at this dog. There's actually been a little bit of a rebound in commercial real estate in San Francisco because a lot of these tech startups have been taking advantage of this essentially crash we've had in commercial real estate. So look at the net new lease signings in San Francisco Bay Area. So again, that's kind of what you want to see at the bottom. You have all of the metrics, headed 12 o'clock on a clock face, right? While price is diverging, right? You want to look for like a bullish divergence where the fundamentals are going up in the right direction, the appropriate direction, but price is decoupling from the fundamentals and going down. That's kind of what you see at the bottom, and that's where you can get some really good deals. So again, I'm not from California. I'm not from San Francisco, so I don't think I have an edge there. But many of you may be from San Francisco. You may be from the Bay Area. And I would start shopping deals. Not only in commercial, but residential. If you go on Zillow, there's properties right now that are trading at 20% discounts from where people bought them like 4 or 5 years ago. Guys, look at this. This is the Panorama Tower. I believe this is the tallest building in Miami, particularly the tallest residential apartment building in Miami. This thing's insane. Let's stand a little bit further back so you can just really get a glimpse of just how tall this thing is. Look at that. Can you imagine the views from that building? Pretty incredible. Hey JC, it's good to see you. Someone says it's downhill for all Western countries at the moment. UniJ23 says, Tom, I read that this past Tuesday, 2 propositions have been approved by voters in San Francisco to get tough on crime and drug activity. Absolutely. Well, number one, I didn't know that, so thank you, but I believe it. I'm going to take your word for it. I've been hearing rumblings all the way, and I don't know if you guys remember me talking about this almost like over a year ago. I said I've been hearing some rumblings from some people who have, you know, high positions at some of the main staple companies in San Francisco, like Salesforce, that people have had enough, and these billionaire CEOs and founders are going to put intense pressure on local governments to clean this up, Benioff being one of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if you know, you're going to continue to see massive pressure from these tech billionaires on San Francisco to clean this up. A while ago, Benioff actually threatened San Francisco to pull Dreamforce out of the city. He's like, we're not doing it there anymore if things don't change. Now, he didn't pull Dreamforce out of the city. They actually just had it. It's a great event. But the threat is there, right? All right, let me catch up on some of the comments. Hey, Chris, Tom, do you ever have concerns that properties on Zillow that is high turnover, X sold and rebought within the next number of years? I mean, not really. To me, it's all about the deal, and anything that's negative about the property should come up in the diligence, right? So you should always do your due diligence on the property. You should always get your inspections. Never, you know, pass over inspections. One of the interesting things that have happened, and actually many of you have brought this to my attention as well, because we have viewers from all over the country, and you guys kind of give me insights to what's happening in your markets locally, which I appreciate that. Appreciate the viewers for that insight. But during the pandemic craziness, a lot of people were buying properties sight unseen, which you should never do, by the way. Okay, particularly residential real estate. Never buy it sight unseen. and they were waiving a lot of their inspections. So these properties, right, could have severe underlying issues, which they have had, and that could cause significant turmoil for buyers, right? So never waive an inspection ever, okay? Don't buy property sight unseen, and don't feel like you need to quickly rush to go buy something, because there's quite literally a house on every street corner in America, so you're not missing out. So take it slow, do the diligence, and take the appropriate inspections. So I think a lot of those, the point I'm trying to make is a lot of those homes that keep turning over, there was probably issues with people rushing too soon to buy. There was unforeseen costs that they didn't account for, and then they need to get out of the deal. But I don't know. Guys, this is Brickell Bay Drive and Southeast 12th Street. Don't quote me on this, but I believe this is going to be the exact location. I think. I don't know, but I think right here where Ken Griffin is going to build the Citadel Tower. Is that true, Zozo Bob? We have our South Florida real estate expert in the chat. I think this is where it's going to be. Oceanfront, waterfront property. Let's go all the way to the back. But I believe this is where it's going to be. Look at this. '61 says yes, it is. What a great location, by the way. Now, can you imagine the valuations of all of these surrounding condominiums? Because if Citadel is going to build a super tall, right? And think about the average salary, who's really going to be here at Citadel. What I've noticed, by the way, is the following. I think starting a career is still better in a city like New York for finance over Miami. What I've been seeing from experience is it's more senior level and higher level executives at these companies. Like if you talk about Goldman Sachs in Palm Beach, very seldom you're going to see like an entry level analyst. These are usually like the managing directors or partners that, you know, they're making millions of bucks and, you know, they're gonna spend time in Miami at the office. But if Citadel is investing billions of dollars in building a super tall down here, that's gonna bring a lot of entry-level finance positions that are extremely well paying. And where do you think these people are gonna live? They're gonna live right here. So, I mean, imagine living right here as a Citadel employee overlooking the water here. This is the Riverwalk that will take us all the way back to the W Hotel. You have Brickell Key to the right. I mean, this is just an incredible place, isn't it? Hey, Brad's Brain, what's up? This is where all of the cruise ships pull in, I think. And that is the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. So for those of you who haven't seen the Miami stream so far, what do you guys think? Do you like the city? Do you not like the city? Hey, Alexander, this is Tom. I saw researchers from the University of Miami said that Miami could be 60% underwater by the year 2060. Do you personally factor in climate change to your investment strategy? I think that number is bullshit. I mean, excuse my language. I think that's BS. If more than half of Miami is underwater, right? Underwater by the year 2060, I don't really think people understand the countrywide or the nationwide ramifications that that's going to have. Florida is a massive. Hey.
I'm joking. I watch your live streams.
Oh, what's up, man? How
I
are
was
you?
gonna share Heinen with you if you wanted it. I don't know if you're a drinker.
Oh, dude, I appreciate it,
Yeah,
man.
I
Thanks
live
so
right
much.
down the block, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because sometimes I watch you, but I'm always busy.
Oh,
and then
thanks
I
so
watch
much.
the live stream, and so I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, nice meeting you, dude. What's your name?
Sam.
Sam, dude, cool.
Yeah, I've been watching for a while. I'm like, oh, well, you're always back here in New York, here in New York, here in New York. And
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be here, but I'm unfortunately leaving tomorrow, which sucks.
why not live here?
So I do technically have a place here, but I still do the vast majority of my business in New York, unfortunately. We're trying to do more business down here, but it's tough.
But would you live here? Is that...
Oh, full-time? For sure. I think that's the goal in, 9-10 years. I want to be here 100% of the time.
Shit, all right, yeah.
Or at least like 60% of the time, but yeah, I love Miami. Well, I mean, what about you? Are you from here, like born and raised?
No, I'm from Chicago, but I like kind of YOLO'd moving here because I just hated the cold, but then I'm like...
Oh, cool.
Well, I've been here for now like 6 months.
Nice.
I don't know, it feels like it's still behind here. You know what I'm saying? I say like there's first class money, but there's like third class services. And I'm like, I love the weather, but everything like fucking sucks. Like if you want to get a computer part, where are you going to go? The nearest Best Buy, South Beach.
No, exactly, yeah.
And
I mean, I think that'll improve over time, right? As, more people move here, particularly younger demographics. I think the problem is Florida, particularly South Florida, the people who have moved here have particularly been like snowbirds, retirees, that typically don't do the things like millennials and Gen Z do, right? So the more people like us that move here, I think that's going to create a demand in the marketplace for those services.
Do you think
but it's going to take time, I think.
Do you think it'll ever get cheaper?
Cheaper? Oof.
Like I'm paying $4K for a studio, which is
I
kind
know,
of insane.
man. That's insane. I mean, I think in time, there just needs to be more product coming on the market. There needs to be more new development coming onto the market. And that's going to take time, building...
Because I don't think there's a lot of space. Like, even if you think about Brickell, like there's this. I think someone said the Citadel Investments bought this or something.
Yeah, so the super tall at Citadel is going to be right here.
That's insane.
Yeah. But this is going to be all commercial. There's going to be no residential. But, what we've been talking about is a lot of the older condos in and around Miami, they're probably going to be bought out by developers because they're coming up on big special assessments, right? So instead of having each individual condominium owner pay a ridiculous special assessment of like $25,000 or $50,000, they'll be bought out at about 1.5x or 2x the total valuation, and then they could demo the entire condo, and then they unlock the land value under there, which could be worth more than the whole condominium itself, and then they could build more new product.
But
So
that won't
that's
ever
gonna
be cheaper, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll probably be around that 3-4K range for a studio, I'm guessing.
I think in maybe the next 5 to 7 years, when we have the product actually hit market, maybe things will cool off a little bit. But I mean, rents have never gone down generally in the U.S.
Yeah.
But it's tough.
Jesus Christ, Miami! I don't see living here. Well, I work remotely, but
Cool.
The more I keep like exploring things, I'm like, shit, I don't know how the average person is doing it. Like your Starbucks worker, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone.
I totally agree, man. I definitely feel that. Yeah, but I mean, next time in Miami, we should connect.
Yeah. I have one other question, since you know a lot about property and stuff. What do you
Go
think,
ahead, for sure.
Like property tax, like what's your general thoughts about it? Because let's say the average person, your parents bought a house for $200K, right? And the house is worth $200K for maybe the next like 5 or 10 years they live, like hypothetically.
Right.
So they're paying an amount like maybe 3% tax rate, but they're paying it off that $200K or maybe $250K value, right?
Exactly.
So now your house,
the assessed value, yeah.
Yeah, so now your assessed value, maybe here in Miami, goes up like 2 or 3 times, right?
For sure.
And now most people can't afford, like, if you're working an average job, 40, 50K, even average salary, 42K.
Yeah, I totally agree.
What do you think is a possible solution or remedy to that in the future?
So I don't really know. Like, I'll give you like an example in my example, right? When I bought my property, the previous owner was there since 1951.
Jesus Christ.
So their tax bill it's public record. It was like $700 a year. When I purchased it, right, now that house reassesses to the new value. My property taxes are now $7,500 a year.
But doesn't it get reassessed every year by the assessor? So that $700 would only be maybe for like the 20 years, like maybe.
Yeah, because it depends on when it's next transacted, right? And a lot of people here in Florida, they homestead, so there's a cap on how much it can go up. But when you're selling it to a new person, right, that all goes away, and you get essentially you pay rack rate. So, I mean, taxes, I always say taxes are never going to go down. You know, I think taxes are always going to go up. But, I mean, I think that's just going to bring better services. You know, I mean, I don't really have an issue with paying ridiculously high taxes unless we get representation, unless we get the good services. That's why I'm kind of pissed off in New York, particularly on Long Island, because we pay so much in taxes, but I see the services degrading. Yeah. If anything, taxes are going like this, and then services are going down.
Yeah, trains are pretty bad late over there.
Trains are late, service is horrible, it's dirty, the infrastructure is falling apart. I think what Miami has is as taxes go up, there's not a lot of public transportation infrastructure here, so the more money they have, they can just build brand new stuff. That's really the only thing that I think, but
shit.
I mean,
yeah, I guess the lever I was thinking, but I don't know how fair it is. So like my parents, you know, the assessor comes in, right? You get your new assessed value, right?
Correct.
So my parents bought the house like in a nice area of Chicago. It was like a farm way back, not even way back, like 20 years ago.
Nice.
And it was worth like 200 something K. It wasn't too much, but now it's worth like 650K. And then,
oh wow.
Yeah, because suddenly think of like farm, but now you have Walmart's, Whole Foods, Starbucks, Costco's, everything. And
it's good for them. That's a good trade.
That's good, but then you think about like my parents, like they are still like a warehouse worker and a janitor, and I think most people, like most parents, the average person,
for sure,
don't really get out of like being a janitor. Like they say back in the day, even a milkman could afford a house, right?
Yeah, not anymore.
And they kind of got comfortable. And my remedy was,
right.
And I don't know how possible this is. It's like, okay, if I was a politician, I'd say, all right, the amount that your assessed value, it won't change, but what you're paying should be based off the amount that you bought the house for. So if I bought it for 200K, and let's
that's a good solution.
Let's add an income multiplier too. So let's say when I bought it, and if my salary didn't change throughout the 20 or 40 years that I'm living in it, then I should probably pay the same amount that I bought it for. But if I made a shit ton of money, you know, then maybe have that income multiplier in it, and then you'd pay I don't know, that was my I tried telling that to some assessors, but like their logic was, and I get it, yes, your assessed value is based on the properties that are sold around, you know.
Correct.
So I was like, all right, that sounds great, but let's put it into practice. Let's say there's a subdivision of 10 houses in here, hypothetically, right? And each of us sell our house for $1. Is my assessed value suddenly $1, right? That logic doesn't really make sense.
No,
right?
yeah. I mean, I think another thing that they should do is, if you're a senior citizen, we should not have seniors pay property taxes at all.
Yeah.
I think. But then, you know, you could get those weird situations where if somebody accumulates so much wealth and they're a multi-billionaire, right? So I think there should be like a cap. But in general, if you're a senior living on a fixed income and you worked your entire life to buy your home, maybe at the age of 65, now you go tax exempt, and then the younger generation who's working takes the burden. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because if you're a senior living off Social Security, let's say if you bought a house on Long Island or in Miami, and your tax bill is $13,000 a year, you can't afford that on a fixed income. So you shouldn't be forced to sell your house just because you can't pay the taxes. So I think you should be able to be exempt. You know, they have like some star benefits, like where your taxes go down significantly, but I think if you're a senior and you worked your entire life to buy a home, at 65 you shouldn't have to pay property taxes.
Yeah.
But
yeah. All right, last question. Sorry, because I like
no, for sure. This is great. Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, property is an investment here, right? So therefore, that's why you can get people gouging at prices, right? Like, oh, I can charge $4K for a studio because it's competitive, right?
For sure,
maybe
yeah.
Like Miami, like 7 years ago when things were cheap, I bought a shit ton of properties. Like the president where I live owns a shit ton of properties here way back, and I was like,
I can imagine he probably bought them for nothing.
Yeah,
too.
And I'm like, that's crazy. I wonder what would happen, just me playing with the idea of like the government's like, oh, let's not make property an investment. Every entity can only at most own 2 properties. Again, playing with the idea, do you think that would be a good or bad idea? Because if everyone can only at most own 2 properties, there's going to be a lot of properties that are empty, right? Therefore, it should lower price. I don't know. That's just like me just thinking of the levers and switches of...
Yeah, maybe in terms of like single family, but you also need to incentivize like entrepreneurs to take risk and build new product. So I think, you know, like how would that work if I'm a developer and I want to go launch like a 130 unit multifamily development? Like, do I need to then subdivide that up and make it like a cooperative or something? Like, I don't know. It's an interesting proposition, but Maybe. I mean, I think those are all good conversations to have. I think you have some good ideas.
Yeah.
But
I was trying to make like a bit, but there's like all these nuances. Like someone's like, all right, so if right now, if I'm a business or I'm a property owner, I have 20 properties, I can only own at most 2. What happens to my 18? I'm like, all right, maybe the government's like, you have X amount of days to sell it, and if not, the government buys it off you.
For sure.
I think that would be, I don't know, there's so many switches.
Yeah, I think another misconception also in the United States is a lot of people think that like the BlackRocks of the world and the Blackstones and all these big investment managers own the vast majority of like property and single family homes. It's actually not true. Most of them are mom and pop landlords that actually use those income producing properties as their like retirement. So the most landlords in the United States are actually like small business mom and pop that have between 1 and 25 units. So I think if you kind of had like a limit in the amount of property people could own, I think that could backfire in a big way, and I think you'd have capital flight out of the US. I think that's why you have capital flight inwards, because you kind of have this, capitalistic, structure. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good conversation, dude. I appreciate the high noon.
I drink a little too much, and I was like, I might as well share a drink with him.
Right.
Yeah, this place, Brickell's all right. I just hate that, like, I'm from Chicago, so like there's Walmarts everywhere, even inner city. So
for sure, yeah.
I remember moving here and I'm like, "Where's the Walmart?" And the door guy's like, "You realize there's no poor people around here?" I'm like, "Damn."
I think the closest Walmart's in North Miami. I think.
Yeah, it's far. You have to go also really like near towards Doral. There's another Walmart over there, but
got it.
I'm having fun exploring the different markets because everyone goes to Publix. I'm like, cool.
Sure.
Let's try Presidente because everything is different. It's just funny because the culture is so different, right? You go to Presidente, you see a lot of like Cubans, Hispanics, and you go to Citadel, they all have like their own.
I agree. Yeah, but next time I'm down here, you have my email. I'm assuming. Shoot me an email. Let's connect, and we'll chat, and maybe we'll do deals down here. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I'm always up. So,
dude, yeah, pleasure meeting you, man. Sam, thank you so much. You're a nice guy.
I finally get to catch you after watching you all these.
Dude, I appreciate you watching. You're a very nice guy, and we will connect. And if you're ever in New York, let me know.
I usually stay in Ozone Park. I don't know if you know where that is.
That's where my family's from. Ozone Park, Queens, by John Adams High School. That's
Italian.
Yeah, Italian.
Okay, that's they have a shit ton. Yeah, I was staying on Sutter and Silver.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, right in that corner.
Dude, yeah, let's connect, man.
Right,
Thank you for this, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. That's a nice guy. Sam, appreciate you very much. It's always cool to run into people. Well, look at this. This is a nice restaurant on the water here. Sunshine after rain says, what's his name? His name is Sam, from Chicago, living in Miami now, which is cool. Guy's got some good ideas. I think that's a Miami PD boat here. Let me see how much battery I got. Now we got some time. Now, I'll give you a little tip. Oh, this is cool. We can see the very top of the Panorama Tower. Look at that. It's the tallest building in Miami. Yeah, Daytona Gals is a beautiful restaurant view. Let's get another look at it. Now, during the day, you can see sea turtles, manatees, everything from here. It's pretty cool. Man, now that I walked down this lane, or sort of this way, I'm really not wanting to go back to New York tomorrow, but hey, Hood Patriot, good to see you. Mark says, hey Tom, don't you have your backup battery? Love your video tonight, looks beautiful. Nice video, nice phone. Is it Apple or Android? So we do these live streams on iPhone 13 mini. And I think it comes out pretty good too. Now, who knows? Maybe in the next 2 years we'll be able to stream in 4K, 60 frames a second, but the battery will probably last like 5 minutes. I mean, think about it like this, right? In 2013, you couldn't live stream in 1080p. You couldn't even live stream in 720p. You probably couldn't even live stream in 480. So I think in the next, I was gonna say 2 to 3, that's probably too soon. 7 years, we'll probably be able to live stream in 4K. Troy Atman says, Tom, have you seen any UFC fighters there in Miami tonight? I haven't. You were telling me, Troy, there's a big UFC event here. I would love to go to a UFC event. Anybody in the chat have been to a UFC event? Cape Cod Sarah says, Tom, can you remember to put on the rewind option on the live streams? Yeah, so I couldn't do it this time when I was in Miami because I don't have my laptop. Just because I don't like to leave my laptop inside my scooter. But yes, I think at the conclusion of the live stream, you'll be able to go back and rewind. This is an awesome shot of Brickell Key, guys. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these streams pretty much every day, starting at 8:30 p.m. Yes, UFC 299 is at the Kaseya Center tomorrow night. Holy crap. That is going to be rocking. I'm kind of upset I'm going back to New York tomorrow, because think about it like this, everybody. You not only have all of the spring breakers that are going to be here this weekend, but you have the UFC event. I mean, Miami is going to be crazy tomorrow. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Elliot Wave Reviews says, Tom, what's the difference between North Beach and South Beach? Well, North Beach is all the way up 72nd Street. So if you look at a map of Miami, you'll see South Beach, and then you head all the way up Collins, and you'll start to go 72nd Street. That's the North Beach kind of neighborhood, which is my favorite neighborhood of Miami. They also call that Little Buenos Aires. And then you kind of go up into Surfside, and then after Surfside you go to Bal Harbor, and then you go over the Haulover Inlet to Sunny Isles Beach. And the first building you'll see coming over that Haulover Inlet through into Sunny Isles Beach is the brand new Ritz-Carlton Residences.
Super Bowl weekend. So hell yeah.
This is like a cool little marina here. Oh, look at this. Vice City Marina. All right, everybody. Well, the battery's gonna blow out here in a minute. Remember that one night we were seeing these dolphins jumping around everywhere? All right, everybody. Well, I really appreciate you coming out and enjoying our last night in Miami. Hopefully all of those who have not seen our Miami streams have been enjoying them. We will be back tomorrow live from New York City, Midtown Manhattan. I'm assuming everybody's very excited. So get your hat and gloves on. And I will see you guys in New York tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe and click the like button. Look at this crazy boat. It's kind of like a James Bond villain boat. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Janice S., thank you so much. Flat Smack. Steve from Buffalo, thank you so much for your well wishes. Troy Atman, appreciate it. Fun Feeds, Hawaii, Muhammad, Jonathan from Florida, Mar Jane, Amy T, John Kelly, thanks so much. Joe E., I appreciate you. SoCal Lawrence, Lucrative, Cooking Gaybro, Austin City Limits, Out and About. There's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. I'll see you guys back in the Northeast. Start spreading the news, I guess.